Secretary Youth Affairs, interns, members of the Hesabika Trust, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. A warm welcome to Safari Park, and indeed a warm welcome to this induction of interns of the Governance Internship Program. I would request that we be upstanding so that we can start with a word of prayer. And for that, I would like to invite Mr. Wilson Kuna, GIPro coordinator, to put us before the Lord as we start our program. Mr. Kuna, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Frida. All protocols observed. My name is Wilson Kuna, the coordinator for the Governance Internship Program. I want to invite us to a moment of prayer. Let us pray. O God of all creation, the sovereign of all nations of the world, who sits enthroned in the heavens and your kingdom rules over all. We are before you this morning. We thank you that you have made this day possible. We thank you for every person in this meeting this morning. We thank you for the passion and the desire that unites us, O God, this morning to pursue the cause of raising values-driven leaders for this nation. We ask that even as we gather before you this day and for all that is before us, that you're going to open our eyes, that we may have a glimpse of the plans that you have for this nation, because your word tells us that I know the plans I have for you, plans not for evil, but plans to prosper you and to give you an expected end. And may that be our realization with the journey that you are beginning today. We want to bring the program and the young people who are before us this morning and before you as an offering, a small offering, and a small contribution to what you are doing to bring good for this nation. And we ask that may your kingdom come, may your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And we ask these things in the name of our Lord Jesus. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Please kindly take your seats. As we all know, this is the induction of interns organized by the Hesabika Trust through the State Department of Youth in collaboration with the Judiciary Training Institute. And we are reminded that what this program stands for is raising values-driven leaders for Kenya's governance. Without much ado, I will welcome the chair, Hesabika Trust, who will probably demystify this a little more for us, Dr. Joshua Wathanga, to make a few brief remarks. Dr. Wathanga, please. You can give him a hand as he approaches.
Our distinguished guests, led by Honorable Justice Morgan on behalf of the acting Chief Justice and the acting President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the Permanent Secretary for State Department of Youth Affairs, Mr. Sunkuli, the Director of Judiciary Training Institute, the Director General of Kenya School of Government, who is not here just yet and who will be coming a little later, and represented here just now by the Director of Academic Affairs at Kenya School of Government, Dr. Josephine Mwazia. All the other guests who are here, mentors, ladies and gentlemen, we are so honored to be in this gathering this morning. And I kind of feel, before I even make my opening remarks, our honorable guests, if I may, I'd like to first of all introduce you to who these interns are so that even as we talk about this program, you will know who we are referring to. So if it's okay with you, our honorable guest, I'll ask all the interns to come here and to present us with Nita Hesabika anthem as a way of introducing yourselves, and then I'll come and make a few remarks. Interns, if you could please come. Let's encourage them. Let's encourage them. Thank you. They will temporarily remove their masks for the purposes of the video, but they will maintain some social distance, so that's okay.
Good morning. It's a great privilege to stand here and to be part of you and you to be part of us as we start this program. We'll just go straight to the anthem, which says, "For too long we have been concerned, but time has come to stand up and be counted." The rest of the words will be heard in the song, and we hope you'll enjoy and listen as we share our anthem. Yes. For too long we have been concerned, but time has come to stand up and be counted. We'll translate concerns into action, and salt and light we must be felt. We'll take our place as Nehemiahs of today. We will rebuild the broken places. By your grace, we will pay the price, as Esther did, to save our land. Nita Hesabika, Nita simama, Nita chukua hatua. Nitahesabika, sitanyamaza. Nitahesabika, hesabika. Nitasimama, nitachukua hatua. Nitahesabika, sitanyamaza. Nitahesabika. Sons of light, arise and take your place in unity and integrity. Don't give up and do not give in until this land is healed and free. Nitahesabika, nitasimama, nitachukua hatua. Nitahesabika, sitanyamaza. Nitahesabika, nitahesabika. Nitasimama, nitachukua hatua, nitahesabika, sitanyamaza, nitahesabika. Thank you.
Honorable guests, let me just share with you briefly what Hesabika is about and what this program is about, and what motivates us in Hesabika in starting this program. And I'll start by quoting the Irish statesman and philosopher Edmund Burke. And this is what he says, and I'm sure this is very well known to us, that the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men, and I dare add women, do nothing. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is when good men and women do nothing. And that is something that we want to contribute in getting good men and women do something for what they believe the direction of this country should be like. And we are firstly inspired by distinguished leaders like yourselves. But I think one of the things we notice is that there are not too many of you, and I'm not referring to your senior positions in the various areas of government that you are involved in, but men and women who have distinguished themselves by the quality and ethical, moral standards they stand for, even in those high positions. So we want to contribute, even in a very small way, in adding to your number, people who will stand up to be counted for the transformation of this country. And that's what Hesabika is really about, and that's why we chose this name, Hesabika, because one of the observations that we had made is that we don't have a shortage of people in government positions, senior positions. But we do have a shortage of people who really are standing up to be counted and making a difference where they are. And we notice, and especially in the faith community, that there are many people who point fingers at what is going wrong in the country, who are maybe expert commentators, and people who analyze what is going on in the country without necessarily lifting a finger and doing what it takes for each of them as individuals to become an agent of change in the transformation of this nation. So Hesabika is a call to everyone to say that you can make a change where you are. And if we all did something where we are, indeed we can talk about the transformation of this nation. One of Hesabika's priority is mentoring, resourcing, releasing the next generation of leaders for every sector of society. And we felt that one sector that is underrepresented when it comes to men and women of integrity is particularly when it comes to public service. And it's not that public service is particularly dirty, it's just that it is public service and the politics and governance of a nation are so critical that when people exclude themselves and become only experts in pointing out what is wrong, then we cannot advance as a nation. And so we are trusting that this program, the Governance Internship Program, will begin to contribute, perhaps in a small way, but in a way nonetheless, where increasingly we are building a pipeline of values-driven leaders for this nation. We couldn't have started this program and come this far without the support of many of you around here. And allow me, Honorable Lady Justice to just point out a number. Let me start this by noting particularly the role of the Judiciary Training Institute in induction of these interns. When we went to see the director, Honorable Justice Kathurima, about the induction of these interns, one of the things that was quite clear is that in the mandate of the Judiciary Training Institute, there is nowhere where they are allowed to train the public. They only train judges and magistrates. And he actually told me they don't train even lawyers, let alone anyone who shows up at the Judiciary Training Institute. But I can only attribute it to God because I don't know why he felt that there is something about this program that I think is quite interesting. I would have to get permission from the JSC, from the Judicial Service Commission, or at the very least, the acting Chief Justice. And so he said, let me try and do that. And of course, we were very much in prayer about what response that he was going to get. Only, I think it was 2 or so weeks later, when the director announced that actually he's received permission from the Honorable Lady Justice, the acting Chief Justice. And a day later, he said, actually the Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, the acting Chief Justice, will come to open the induction at the Judiciary Training Institute. I mean, we didn't have words for that. We did not even request for that. And so we are so very grateful for the support that the Judiciary Training Institute, and what's more, the meticulousness with which this induction program at JTI has been put together. And thanks so much to your deputy, Dr. Frida Getheru, who is a master of ceremony here. We have seen what is epitome of excellence just by working with the Judiciary Training Institute. And so we want to say thank you so very much for the support and the inspiration that you have given. And you have brought in excellent facilitators. And one of them, Honorable Justice Richard Mwongo, is here. And so we are so very grateful for the people that you have brought together for this training program. And Honorable Justice Richard Mwongo, who is a presiding judge in Naivasha, you came all this way for this occasion, and we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you very much, thank you. Let me also, if I may, thank you, PS, Mr. Charles Sunkuli, the PS for the State Department of Youth. And let me just say very briefly, and I know I may be taking more time than Dr. Getheru will be comfortable with, that when Mr. Sunkuli came into the department of the State Department of Youth, and that was, I think, only a few weeks ago, when PS Julius Correo exchanged with him in devolution, and he came. We must admit, Mr. PS, we had some fears because Mr. PS, PS Julius Correo, had shepherded this process for quite a while, and we were just about to now go to the next step of even attachments, and a new PS comes, and we are wondering how will the new PS, will he even know how much had been done? Will he own the process going forward? But we came to you, Mr. PS, sir, and we were so inspired for you to say what you thought about this program, and that you wanted it not only to continue, but you have supported it. And your being here today is a testament of the huge support you and your department, supported by Secretary for Youth Affairs, Raymond Auma, who is here. And we just want to thank you so very much for your support. Let's appreciate the PS. in absentia, and I think we'll be joined shortly by Professor Ludeki Chwea, who is the Director General of Kenya School of Government. I would like to acknowledge his support in this. Again, when we went to Kenya School of Government and we are having a conversation about bringing interns through induction at KSG and later actually going back for training, we went there, and the Director of Academic Affairs, Dr. Josephine Mwanzia, who is here, took us to the Director General, and we were having this conversation. And the Director General said, you are really implementing what we in KSG are about. And we not only want to support this program, but could we have a memorandum of understanding with you and the State Department of Youth so that we are working not just on this cohort, but on future cohorts, and maybe do some other partnerships together. Now, that is from the Director General. We were just awed, surprised, and so very grateful. And that MOU that the Director General requested that we put together will be signed later this morning, Honorable Lady Justice Mugo. We just want to appreciate the role of KSG in this process. And so I want us to please thank. And I could go on and on. Let me just mention two more, and that's it, believe you me. The Clerk of the National Assembly, he's not here, he's not represented, he's actually been indisposed. Michael Sialai, and Honorable Patrick Mareru, who are making arrangements for the induction of interns at the Center of Parliamentary Studies and Training, CPST, and also attachment to Parliament. So they are not able to be here, but we are very grateful for the support and the partnership with the legislature. So let's, and my words will not be complete without appreciating the role of the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service and Gender, Professor Margaret Kobia. She actually wanted so very much to be here. She couldn't come this morning. She has sent a representative, Mr. Dennis Mutahi, who is here. And so let's appreciate Dennis. Where are you, Dennis? He is there. So thank you very much. And I'll just mention that if there is a mother to this program, the Governor's Internship Program, it would have to be Professor Margaret Kobia. We started this conversation in 2019. Yeah, it feels like that far back. And His Excellency, the President, had just launched the Huduma Halisi initiative. And at that point, we were having a conversation as to whether Hesabika can contribute into implementing through an internship program, the Huduma Halisi program. And at that point, the PS for the youth, the State Department of Youth was actually in public service. And Mr. Ouma was the Secretary for Home Affairs, then in the Ministry of Public Service. And they went with the baby and nurtured this baby in the Ministry of ICT. But we are really appreciative for the support that the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service has provided. And one request we have of the CS is that just like she brought up this baby, we would like to make a request to her, and she is considering this, that the Public Service Commission is enjoined into this memorandum in terms of the implementation of this governance program. And so, Mr. Mutahi, we know that you'll be taking that to the CS of Public Service. So let's appreciate the Cabinet Secretary again. I think I better close my remarks and then just again thank the Director of JTI for making this opening ceremony possible, but also giving us an opportunity to talk about this program and the MOU. Thank you very much.
What an inspiring story about Hesabika. I think I'm really inspired. Please let's give another hand to Dr. Wathanga and his team. I think that's a lot of fantastic work going on there. Well done for the good job. Dr. Wathanga did mention an MOU that will be signed later this morning. And so for this next segment of the program, I'd like to welcome none other than Mr. Raymond Ouma, who has been adversely mentioned. In a good way, Mr. Ouma. So to take us through this next segment that will culminate into the signing of the MOU.
Thank you.
Let me protect you. So
Thank
that's too much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Frida Mugambi, for the awesome job that you've been doing on behalf of our great director, Honorable Justice Kathurima Minoti. Allow me to just observe a little bit of protocol. First of all, our chief guest, Lady Justice Agnes Murgor, representing the acting CJ as our chief guest. It's an honor to have you. Our Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs, Charles Sunkuli, who is not now so new, but is so sold out to push the youth agenda. Professor Ludeki Chwea, who is joining and is on the way soon. Honorable Justice Kathurima Minoti, Director JTI, as it has been mentioned, this would have not been this far if it was not for your open arms and breaking some rules, though you are judges. Well done, Dr. Frida Mugambi, again, for what you've done, and also representing CS Kobia. We have the representative of CS Kobia, Hesabika trustees and partners, and Dr. Joshua Wathanga, the chair of Hesabika trustee. Thank you so much. And the kings and the queens of this auspicious occasion, and that is our great interns whom you have seen there. What has been a little bit of a wonder is almost all of them can sing. I don't know whether the qualification is there was a rehearsal, but it's exemplary. We must not. I want to say, Honorable Lady Justice, that judiciary is always about judgment. And judgment is such a high premise to put on a society and to put on a special people. Today we are glad we are engaging judiciary not because we are judged. We are engaging judiciary on a very different aspect of transforming the society. Thank you so much, the judiciary, for allowing this to happen. This journey, as had been said, started in 2018 in terms of the talks, then came to 2019 where we actioned this under the leadership of CS Kobia. And I like what they've written here, translating concern into action. It was a journey that has seen 3 PSs, and I'll tell you, a good idea whose time has come can never be thrown away. We had PS Owino, we had PS Korir, and when PS Chance Kuli came, I believe there would have been a little bit of a worry of where this program was going to go, but it has remained to be. Welcome, Professor Ludeki Chwea. We have also been mark timing because we needed your pen, so we had to make sure that you are in here. So this has already been put into action, and I would just want to say this, I'll not make remarks because we will have remarks being made, is somebody said, why do you involve a minister on 20 people? And I said it's not about the numbers. Why do you involve PS and Honorable Chief Justice and Justices here on only 20 people? It is not about the 20 people. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Lady Justice, change that came to the world through Christ was by one man. The Muslim community, the hundreds and millions that they have, was done by one man. Osama bin Laden changed how we get into buildings. Before that happened, we could walk into buildings without being checked. Osama bin Laden changed the world by just taking a plane and blowing the Twin Towers. Hitler changed the world, and therefore, ladies and gentlemen, our kings and queens, you can change the world. Thank you so much. I want to halt at that point and just take us through an overview how we are going to go. I know in terms of Lady Justice, PS, you're making transitions into other programs, so we want to make sure that we move as fast and as seamless as possible. So I'll just relay how we are going to go. We are going to have remarks by Dennis Mutai, get ready. Then after that, we are going to have remarks by Professor Ludeki Chwea. Then after that, we are going to be followed by Mr. Chan Sunkuli, Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs. Then after that, those remarks, I believe it would be the best time then they sign the MOU, so that while we sign the MOU, we know what we are signing, rather than signing it before they make their remarks. After that, I will bring on board Honorable Justice Kathurima Minotti, who will then usher our chief guest, Lady Justice Agnes Murgor. So we are going to move into that order, and I believe within that time, we will make sure that this day becomes the fruitful day it is. So without wasting so much time, Lady Justice, allow me to bring on board Dennis Mutai, to make his remarks. Welcome, Dennis, and make your remarks.
Honorable Lady Justice Agnes Mulgo, representing the Chief Justice, the Acting Chief Justice, Mr. Charles Sunkuri, the PA State Department for Youth, Professor Ludeki Chwea, the Director General, Kenya School of Government, Honorable Justice Kathurima, the Director, Judiciary Training Institute, Mr. Joshua Thanga, the Chairperson, Hesabika Trust, distinguished ladies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Dennis Mutahi, and I've been sent here to represent the CS Ministry of Public Service and Gender, who would have wished to be with us this morning, but due to other engagements, she was not able to be with us this morning. I'll go directly into reading her remarks that she prepared to deliver to this, to you on these auspicious occasions. And I'll start. I'm delighted to be here today to witness the opening of the induction of interns under the Governance Internship Program by Hesabika Trust and the Judiciary Training Institute, and to witness also the signing of a memorandum of understanding that will underpin the partnership and cooperation between the government agencies and Hesabika Trust. This partnership is encouraging and gives hope as it is geared towards catalyzing the value-driven transformation in Kenya through integrity of actors in public service. Let me, from the onset, appreciate Hesabika Trust team for recognizing that we can utilize the well-mentored, talented, and inspired value-driven youth to create a platform for social and economic transformation of Kenya with increased effectiveness in public service and for better development outcomes. I commend you for the partnership you have established with the judiciary, with the Kenya School of Government, and with the State Department for Youth Affairs. This partnership will strengthen your footing and bring you closer to achieving the vision of a transformation of values in Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, the goals and objectives of this effort we are launching this morning interfaces well with the ongoing efforts by the government of Kenya to improve the Kenya's public service. As you are all aware, His Excellency, the President of Kenya, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, is leading and championing the fight against corruption in order to ensure that public resources and institutions are effectively utilized. In addition to empowering the multi-agency efforts that respond to the challenges that we are facing, His Excellency, the President, also launched the Honest Public Service Campaign, dubbed Huduma Harisi, on 5th of December, 2018. The aims of this campaign is to celebrate, recognize, laud, and make visible public servants who offer honest public service with commitment and selflessness, and who personify national values while placing citizens at the forefront of their day-to-day duties. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the strategic priorities of the Hesabika Trust is to uphold the positive values and advocate for integrity in leadership and support the government in doing the same. Similarly, a key objective of the government internship program is to mentor, resource, and release the next generation of value-driven leaders who have a calling into public service and governance. Values in our society are fundamental as they define our character, our identity, and our aspirations. Values determine our beliefs and practices. They determine what we perceive to be right or wrong. In many respects, our society has associated the younger generation with negative values in our country. This perception has been associated with negative values including negative social behavior, radicalization and terrorism, crime, drug abuse, and alcoholism, among others. However, this view, while accurate, to some extent is only half of the story. Society has started to overlook the many youths who are doing their part to influence positive change from their respective stations in life. Those who commit to higher ideals exhibit strong character, courage, and commitment. We need to appreciate the strengths of the youth as a key resource for national development, as they are more adaptable to change, new ideas, and new ways of thinking. We are therefore greatly encouraged by this initiative because it recognizes the youth as agents of positive change and aspires to place them at the center of value transformation agenda in the public service. This initiative, with goals to equip the young interns with knowledge, skills, and exposure they need to raise our public service to a new level and a higher moral ground, is therefore a step in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2010, the Kenya Youth Factbook disclosed that 33% of the youth at that time aspired to riches. 6 years later, in 2016, a study by the Aga Foundation showed a dramatic shift in values where half of the youth believed it doesn't matter how one makes money, as long as one is not caught. Money and wealth had become prime values. These value shifts cannot be ignored. Value erosion impacts society as it increases the cost of doing business, worsens inequalities, and jeopardizes our capacity to achieve sustainable development goals and the Vision 2030 within the set timelines. Subsequently, in the Kenya Youth Development Policy, the government has committed to nurture a value-driven, morally applied, ethical, and transformative generation through strengthening the family unit as the basic unit of socialization and value transfer, deepening intergenerational and intragenerational dialogues, mentorship and value transfer to the youth, and utilizing ICT and social media space to further entrench the values and the morals of the youth. In the meantime, the government will continue to invest in efforts that advance Chapter 6 on integrity of our Chapter 6 of our Constitution on integrity, including promoting values among the younger generation through training at such institutions as National Youth Service, where we are currently training over 20,000 youths annually in order to enhance and inculcate national values and principles of good governance so that we can achieve the generational shift on values and shifts and shift in attitudes. Ladies and gentlemen, all indications are that where Kenyan youth are repeatedly exposed to positive values by those whom they trust the most, the goal of the country's transformation will be realized. I therefore urge all the stakeholders here, including the judiciary, to continue setting a good example and modeling the values we wish to see practiced by the future generations. As I conclude my remarks, I want to assure you that my office and the ministry as a whole will continue to support this and other similar initiatives that are geared to inculcating the right values and characters in our youth. This is a sure way of guaranteeing the development of our country, and the future is in safe hands. I encourage you to forge ahead and to grow this program from strength to strength with an assurance that the value system you are nurturing is desirable for the country. Let me once again congratulate those involved in advancing this initiative, the partner organizations, individuals who contributed to the convening of today's session, and more importantly, congratulate the 20 interns who have already gone through the first part of the induction at the Kenya School of Government for this important endeavor and for this important step. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for well representing the Cabinet Secretary who was the midwife of this baby. Honorable Lady Justice, the person that I want to bring is somebody who is very passionate about the youth. You mention youth, he literally jumps off his chair. And he says he's old school. He's never old school when you are discussing youth events. Honorable Lady Justice, let me bring on board our Professor Ludeki Chwea, the Director General of Kenya School of Government, to make his remarks. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you very much. My brother Raymond doing a great job as Secretary for Youth. The chief guest at this important meeting, the Honorable Chief Justice, the Honorable Lady Justice Murgo, representing the Chief Justice, Madame Philomena Mwilu, Dennis Mutahi, representing Cabinet Secretary of Public Service and Gender, Professor Margaret Kobia, the Principal Secretary, State Department of Youth Affairs, and my brother Julius Sunkuli, the Director, Judicial Training Institute, my friend. I'm very proud to say he's my friend. Sometimes I mention this and people respect me more. Justice Mwinoti Kathurima. I have to recognize Justice Mwongo. I don't know whether he remembers me. But one time I wrote a letter over there to him to request him to come and make a presentation at the Kenya School of Government. And I recall it was on the matter of terrorism. And he actually came. I gave him only 2 days' notice. I think it was travesty of justice. And yet it worked. And he gave made a great presentation on that occasion. Distinguished participants at this meeting, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to stand before you and to make a few remarks on the important subject of youth affairs in our country. I have no written speech, but I'll try to appear as if I'm reading a speech. First of all, I would like to recognize the tremendous work that the government is doing to promote the interests of the youth in our country. One time I attended a youth meeting and speaker after speaker made reference to a cliche that I don't agree with, and which is that the government isn't doing enough to support the youth, and so on. So I made reference to just the government budget, and I asked what share goes to the Ministry of Education, and who does the Ministry of Education cater for, and so on and so forth. And so I also made reference to the different youth support schemes and programs that government has introduced, particularly aimed at empowering the youth to start and prosper in business. And I asked whether there was anyone in the audience who had applied for, for support under the youth fund. And surprisingly, no one had. It even seemed like no one knew about it. But we were too ready to criticize, what government is doing to support the youth, and so on. I asked whether there was anyone who had applied for work under the GIPro program, and no one had. Yet again, government has done a lot to support this. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to commend the State Department of Youth Affairs and our government for the tremendous work that has been done to support the youth of this country. I also recognize my brother Raymond here. He's even more passionate. I think we couldn't have gotten a better candidate for the position of Secretary, Youth Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kenya School of Government has stepped forward to participate in the effort to promote the interests of the youth in our country. We have established a variety of training programs specifically targeting the youth. We have the Student Leadership Program, which we run at the Kenya School of Government, and mostly caters for youth leaders from our universities. It is a very, very busy program. Recently, we had a session in Mombasa campus. It was very, very well attended. We also have a youth empowerment program, through which we seek to provide the youth with information about the opportunities that exist in our country, within our government, that they could exploit to build themselves up. It includes establishment of a portal where such information is made available. And we have established a center, the first center for this purpose at Isiolo, in partnership with the county government of Isiolo. It's meant to cater for the many counties in that region, and with support from UK Aid and UNDP. Raymond was actually present on that occasion, UNDP. And we're going to replicate this program to other parts of the country. We also have a program that seeks to protect the youth against misappropriation by evil forces in our society, in our world. So we have a program on countering violent extremism in partnership with the National Counterterrorism Center, and I think with support from USAID and other partners. And through this program, we have been able to support the youth and to protect them against conscription into the evil work of Osama bin Laden that Raymond talked about. We want to change the word differently, not in the way Osama has tried to do. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to mention this. I don't know whether you'll consider it trivial, but let me just say that at the Kenya School of Government, we have established a football club. It is called Kenya Football Club Ogopa. Kenya School of Government Football Club Ogopa. By that name alone, opponents get so intimidated that when the center forward is approaching their goal, the goalkeeper just runs away. And so we have been able to beat all the teams that have come our way, and now we are on top of the table in our category. The point here, Honorable Chief Justice, is that we have to do our part in supporting the youth in every way possible. In this particular case, we are developing youth talent. And I go to watch youth playing at school level and so on. And whenever I do that, the aim is to identify, targets for such talent development program. And I bring them at KSG. Fortunately, the Kenya School of Government Act gives the Director General some powers to employ people in the level of temporary staff and so on. And I use those powers, Mr. Raymond, to bring in the youth so they can join the Kenya Football Club, Kenya School of Government Football Club, or GOPA. And so we have youths there playing so well. And in the process, we are able to really support them in many other ways, even by way of employment. And I would like to encourage organizations that are represented in this room to partner with KSG so that some of these team players can get more permanent jobs in your organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, my last remark, kind of interesting one, but if I were an ordinary person, I would not have mentioned it, but I will mention it, since I'm not ordinary. You see, I read the newspaper yesterday about, exams having begun. But there was the story that a lot of girls could not either do the exam, or while the exam was kicking off, they were in labor, either in hospital and so on, delivering babies. And these are little girls who are supposed to be at school, studying. So I think that we haven't done enough to protect our little girls, and our young girls, and we have a responsibility to do this. The first step is not to blame them. I think that the first step is to blame ourselves, because the question will always be, what did we do about it? And I think we must go beyond the orthodox conventional approach that we have adopted so far, that is, advising and, encouraging and so on. Now, how do you advise, particularly reckless men in our society? These girls don't look for these men look for these girls. They entice them in every manner, every way possible. Whenever I attend funerals and so on in our hometown and community, the assistant chief keeps warning border riders. I hear they are the culprits, and other people in society from doing all of this. But why should we just stay at the level of warning? We must now take action. Somebody must go to jail. This should be an offense. Not just because the girl is underage, that's not enough. Even if the girl is above age 18, culpability can still be established around the man who encouraged all of this. I studied in Canada, Raymond, and lived there for 5 years. And over there are rules around such matters that are very stringent, extremely stringent. And there is, and Honorable Justice Murgor and justices in our room, happy to have you. There is something there called statutory rape. I think in our country, rape is rape in very straightforward definition, right? But over there is something called statutory rape, which means that the lady could have cooperated, but behind that seeming cooperation, there could have been some measure of duress, either psychological or mental, or you enticed just because you have a border. So on the face of it, there is it called cooperation, willingness, and so on the face of it. But behind it, there is a measure of compulsion, manipulation, duress, and so on. And courts go into that, and people get punished for what would have seemed to be just a happy-go-lucky engagement. So here is something we have to begin to think about, how to punish culprits in this particular. I visited Doha. I think I must end my remarks now. I visited Doha, and over there, I came to learn that they have culture police unit, a police unit dedicated to police the culture of the community. And so there are elements of culture practices that you could see encourage such things to happen in our society. And so we can detect this early enough and protect our youth from such conduct in our society. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I would like to thank the State Department of Youth Affairs and also Hesabika for the internship program that has been promoted, developed, worked out, and which we are launching. And the Kenya School of Government will be pleased to sign the MOU that has been drafted, around which we'll be able to roll out the programs that have been thought out at the tripartite level between the State Department of Youth Affairs, Kenya School of Government, and Hesabika. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Professor Rudeki Chwe. Honorable Lady Justice, I warned you of his passion, and you can see. At some point, he even told us that a team could not reach Kenya School of Government when they had the name of the team that they were about to play, and you've heard for yourself. Honorable Lady Justice, allow me at this particular point to bring on board a gentleman who does not take time to appreciate good things. As it has been said, he is new, but he's not been so new because everything that has been good, he says, can we move them forward? And P.S. Sunkuli is a man of action. So I take this opportunity to welcome our PS youth, Charles Sunkuli, to make his remarks. We can appreciate the PS.
Thank you, you, the Secretary. Honorable Lady Justice Agnes Murgor, who is representing the Chief Justice, your team, Richard Mongo, Justice Mongo, the entire team that is here, Director, Kenya School of Government. Let me take this opportunity to first of all say that I'm very excited to see the judiciary team that is here, who have been part and parcel in stewarding this process up to this level. I was told that I'm the third PS who is coming in to handle this. So the biggest problem was I was wondering whether I'll really be as useful to this process, just like my colleagues. But I must say that if you looking at the representation this morning and the history of this program, Hesabika, plus the leadership that is here, I must admit that I'm challenged. I'm challenged to do better than probably what my colleagues would have done, or do exactly what they would have done. So let me say, Honorable Lady Agnes Murgor, the team, and your team from the judiciary, that we are gathered here for the official beginning of this partnership. It's an initiative that is anchored in our patriotic responsibility to contribute to the common good of our country, particularly as Hesabika have identified in their vision of translating concern into action. And everybody say that youth is a problem. We all say in our families, in our households, in our rural areas, rural settings, we always say that the biggest problem we have now are the youth. But I'm happy that this program look at it as a solution in terms of mentoring and building capacity of youth to take up leadership positions in whatever sphere they are going to work in. I did discuss this with the chairperson of the Hesabika, and we did agree that as a Ministry of Youth Affairs, we would take up this program, especially because the intention is exactly in line with the mandate of the Ministry of Youth Affairs. And the biggest challenge today we have is affording opportunity for young people to be able to learn, to orientate themselves to the working culture, right attitude, right, the right energy, right cultural values, or the value systems that guide public service. And anytime we have an opportunity like this one, I must say that we get quite excited as a ministry. And that is the reason why I like what the Secretary was saying, that the problem is not the numbers. 20 is not a small number. The enormity of the value that we're going to get from this one is enough to have the team that is represented here officiate this session. And we are glad as a ministry to be part and parcel of this, this program. As a ministry, we have the Youth Development Policy 2019, which underscores the need to nurture a value-driven, moral, ethical generation of patriotic youth with a heart for volunteerism and transformative leadership. Furthermore, the aspiration of this internship program is integral to the overall aim of the Public Service Strategic Plan 2019-2024 to realize its key result areas. The key result areas is efficient service delivery, ethical and value-based public service, and enhancing the capacity to deliver on its mandate. In this regard, the State Department for Youth Affairs recognizes Hesabika as a valuable partner in delivering its mandate of the National Youth Development Agenda. Distinguished guests, Kenya is experiencing a youth bulge. The problem of youth unemployability continues to hold back the country's transformation into an economically prosperous nation where no one is left behind, to ensure that there is greater inclusivity of the youth in all the aspects of development. While other socioeconomic factors are at play, part of this challenge is lack of interventions by all players and that provide a holistic preparation of the youth for opportunities in public sector. And I would like to say, Professor Ludeki Chwea, what you've been doing at the Kenya School of Government is quite exciting, because I know that you've taken on board quite a big chunk of curriculum development, specifically targeting different areas. I know that we are supposed to start a program on diploma in youth affairs. This looks like, somebody was telling me, we'll take such a course. I think it's an area that we really have to put a lot of focus, because the management of youth affairs, to develop that particular that segment of society requires sufficient capacity in terms of skills by those who manage that particular aspect. And that's why you see, like, my Secretary of Youth Affairs is always a youth. And even if it's not just at heart, but even if you look at him, he is always a youth. The other day I was asking myself, maybe he must be, he must be below the age I thought, but I'm sure with that kind of skill that he has developed, I don't think anybody actually, professor, will do what he can do. And that's why I think for PSS, they'll find it easier working there when you have such capacity. So I think we need sufficient skills and knowledge to be able to do that. We, as a ministry, are very excited. This is a small cohort of 20 young men and women who constitute the pace setters of this program, of the governance internship program. It represents a very big milestone on our part, and they hold the promise of great possibilities in the future, beginning with the internship that ran from April 2021 to January 2022. Through these and subsequent cohorts, I believe that the Hesabika can make significant contribution towards the realization of the State Department to harness and develop the youth talent for national development, granted through the Executive Order number 1 of 2018. Furthermore, the GIPro will complement the existing public service internship program, which are run by the Public Service Commission of Kenya, by modeling a well-rounded approach to internships and enhancing the realization of the Public Service Commission strategic plan for 2019-2024. Particularly, the State Department of Youth stands to benefit a lot from this partnership with Hesabika along the following 4 priority policy areas. One is institutionalizing and strengthening apprenticeship and internship program, which we are already running with the World Bank under Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Program. Creativity, talent, identification, and innovation development. Third, entrenching positive morals, moral values, patriotism, volunteerism for transformative leadership. Fourth, supporting effective civic participation and representation. Since it's our intention to broaden the partnership with the Public Service Commission, I believe that when implemented at a scale, the GIPro will create a pipeline for ethical public servants and leaders who will significantly contribute to the realization of the public service strategy of the revitalization of this program. I look at it that in the end we'll have 2 result areas. One is efficient public service delivery, and the second one is ethical and value-based public service. This is a challenge to us in government. Today, everybody, I'm sure most of you will get requests from young people, please give us an opportunity for internship. Please give us an opportunity for casual work. And I'm sure, Professor, you get quite a lot of this because the Kenya School of Government has that opportunity. But I think it's going to be a major challenge. We may never satisfy the demand for mentorship or for mentorship or for affording young people of opportunity to be mentored in public service. But every opportunity must be explored. And we're looking at a situation where, in the end, we might also go outside the public service. For example, young people who study agriculture can be attached to private farms. I'm sure most of you have farms. But the people you pick are just people to look after it the way it is. But you have professionals in agriculture who have no jobs. So if they can be attached through a structured program where we do proper identification and setting standards and norms for that community internship, this is an area that we'll be happy to partner with you to be able to provide opportunity for young people. And I think this program today is one of those areas that will provide an opportunity for us to think through what other programs can we come up with. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we ratify this partnership today, moving forward, we will work with Hesabika to do the following. We'll jointly profile the skills, competencies, and talents of the GIPro interns for purposes of attachment. Develop a role description for the interns for the duration of the internship. Third, we'll jointly establish a performance evaluation framework that includes awarding and certification of innovation and contribution. Fifth, to provide support for safeguarding the copyright and patents on innovation made by the GIPro's interns. Jointly develop a review mechanism for the mentorship program. Participate in identifying suitable mentors for the GIPro interns. This is a major challenge. Jointly explore options for sustainability through joint funding initiatives and expanding the scope beyond the State Department of Youth Affairs. As we conclude this, I would like to advise the GIPro interns this, that as they begin their internship experience, I want to challenge you to make sure that you come out different. You come out different, learn the right attitude in the places where you're going to work, understand make sure that you have social health in the place that you work in. And I always tell people that for young people, it's always important that you look at 4 things. One is that anytime you have an opportunity to build your capacity, strengthen your physical health, strengthen your social health, and also strengthen your spiritual health. That is very, very important. With those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end there, and again, really, really appreciate the presence of Honorable Lady Justice Agnes Murgo, representing the Chief Justice, Acting Chief Justice in this program. As a ministry, we don't take it for granted. We are very, very happy to have you. And as the Secretary said, it's not always easy to have judges. I've personally never sat in a place where you have more than one, at least not, not outside the court. And an old man one time told me that if you want to learn how to survive in the world, when you are free, go to court, just listen to the court cases. The second thing you do, just go to the police station, see someone who has been arrested. Make sure that you go to a critically ill person in hospital. Just see how. Then he said that then you'll be a very strong person, and you can be able to take leadership. So today, I can assure you, I'm a very strong person, and probably that's why my stammering usually, which when I begin a speech, was a little stronger today because of the presence of the judges. But I think now I'm daring. I think we're going to enjoy this session, and thank you very much.
Thank you, PS. No wonder you called me and told me, let's take a group photo before we start. It tells you why. Honorable Lady Justice, thank you so much for sitting and getting these remarks. We are coming to the tail end of this. And allow me to give directions on how we are going to sign the MOU, then we will call you to make your remarks. Our chief guest, allow me to call upon the DG to sit on the left, PS to sit on the right, then you're going to sit in the middle. So with your permission, you can sit in the middle. Dr. Frida and Dr. Joshua, can we get ready, open the MOUs, especially on the last pages of signing, so that then our chief guest, Honorable Lady Justice, can witness the signing. So in terms of the signing, our chief guest, you are just going to be a witness as they sign, and we will proceed from there. Good. We can, yes? Yeah, thank you so much. Our chief guest would request you to just join and stand behind to witness. Thank you. So you're going to be an eyewitness, not a signing witness, because the PS and the DG and the Hesabika chair are going to be implementers. Kichwa, Honorable Justice Richard Mwongo. Thank you so much and God bless you. Let's catch up soon as we proceed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Raymond. You know, I was seated here thinking, well, some of us turned out just fine. Yeah, just fine. I don't know whether it was by chance, but I wish we had an opportunity for this. And I hope that the young ladies and gentlemen appreciate all of this that is being done for them. Yeah. So at this point, I'd like to move us to the next session. I would like to invite the director, JTI, but just by way of introduction, I know we'll be demystifying a lot more about what we do in the next couple of days. The director, JTI, is also a sitting judge of the Court of Appeal. And Judge, with your permission, we also congratulate the director for having been recently appointed to the East Africa Court of Justice. So at this point, I'd like, congratulations, Judge. So at this point, I would like to welcome the director, JTI, who will make his remarks and thereafter invite the acting Chief Justice, represented here by Lady Justice Agnes Murgor. Please put your hands together for Justice Ntoinoti, Kathurima Ntoinoti.
Thank you very much, Dr. GIPro, for your kind words. Even before I say anything else, our young ladies and gentlemen, you really blessed in the way you sing, but more important to me, the ones of the Hesabika anthem, those lyrics, they are so inspiring, they are so inspired. They light in you the kind of flame that singing the ones of our national anthem, does. Yeah, keep it up, keep it up. The Honorable Lady Justice Agnes Murgor, representing the acting Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, the Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, Mr. Dennis Mutai, representing the Cabinet Secretary, Public Service, Mr. Charles Sunkuri, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Youth Affairs, my brother, Professor Rude Kichwa, Director General, Kenya School of Government. We've known each other from our days in the University of Nairobi in the 1980s, and I look forward to the day that Mahakama FC meets Ogopa. Mr. Raymond Ouma, Secretary, Youth Affairs, Dr. Joshua Wadhanga, Chair, Hesabika Trust, our distinguished resource persons we already have here with us, the Honorable Justice Richard Mwongo, colleagues from the Judiciary Training Institute led by Dr. GIPro, our guests, interns of the governance internship program, good morning. Dr. Wadhanga has gone into the background of how we ended up being together in this room today. All that possibly I will add is sometimes in December, one of our colleagues in the judiciary, she works for the Employment and Labor Relations Court, Lady Justice Lynette Doro, called me. It was just a few days before Christmas, and as normally happens with us Kenyans, we had retreated to our rural homes where there is no network. So she was struggling to go, it was about 6 o'clock, she was struggling to talk to me, and I could not hear much. All that I heard was that, yes, an MP called Mariro from, I think, Laikipia needs to meet you, and is doing something with the young generation. Now, as normally happens when you hear an MP, you are very suspicious. But then I remember we are told you can never judge anybody without evidence. So I tell her, okay, what you do, get my number and give to Honorable Mariru, and then we will talk in January. During January, Honorable Mariru calls, and we fix an appointment to meet. Now, God works in miraculous ways, because after that, I think he had to attend something to do with Parliament at the Tsavo National Park, and he could not come. So what does he do? He sends Dr. Wadanga and Mr. Kuna, and I think another of their officers. So they come and we meet with Dr. GIPro and them, and they explain to us what they are trying to do. Now, that presentation was full of wisdom, conviction, and a lot of humility, that it was difficult to say no, because we appreciated when those challenges. Under the law, we are supposed to be training judges. The closest we have come to train people outside our own judiciary is when we have trained judges from Sudan or Somalia. In fact, some of our colleagues say that our mandate does not extend even to training staff of the judiciary. It is only judges, magistrates, and qadis. So we ourselves were very convinced, and after we spoke to the acting Chief Justice, she was also extremely supportive. The bottom line is, what we are doing, we are not violating any law. What happened? The law was interpreted purposively. Yeah? The Constitution allows us to interpret the law purposely to take forward its values and purposes. And we reason that if the Constitution dedicates a whole chapter on issues to do with national values and principles of governance, principles on leadership, surely if we get an opportunity as a judiciary to talk to our young people and tell them what we do towards realization of these constitutional values and principles, we cannot be violating the Constitution. And so I think we stand on very solid ground that what we are doing is within the law, and we are extremely, extremely happy for the opportunity to partner with all these colleagues to move forward this project. For the next few days, we're going to be together. We'll get an opportunity to know what we do at the judiciary. Everybody knows that the same challenges that every other department of government in Kenya faces, as relates to professionalism, as relates to ethics, we also face those issues in the judiciary, and we want to discuss, we want to tell you how we interact with them, and how we are ourselves getting committed to ensure that the values you have sung about, the principles you have talked about, that we actually live them. For our young friends, you know, it's a very good opportunity as you start your professional life. The good book tells you when you work as if you are working for God, not for man. It's an opportunity for you. When you work for God, you cannot see you are working for God when you are practicing corruption, when you are practicing nepotism and tribalism. Yeah? It is really when you are doing things in accordance with the values that are set and spoken of in the Constitution. So we expect we will get this opportunity to interact along these lines, and we hope that this is just the beginning. All that I can say is that at the Judiciary Training Institute, we see the value of the good work that the Hesabika Trust and the other partners are doing, and we are committed to working with you to ensure that we really have serious professionalism, that values and principles are embedded in the way that we render our services. So without taking much more time, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Lady Justice Agnes Murgo, who is representing our acting Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, to make her remarks and to officially open our induction. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my brother, Judge Mtunoti. If I can just take his words a little further forward on the anthem that was sung this morning, Nita Hesabika. I think that for a country with about 60% young people, that should perhaps be the third anthem we sing after the national anthem and the East African anthem, because really it's something that goes to the heart and fabric of who we are. So I'm here on behalf of Lady Justice, the Acting Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, and she has asked me to come today to speak on her behalf. I will read her speech, and the truth is will be revealed as to why she is not here today. It is in her speech, so I don't need to repeat that. So the Principal Secretary, State Department of Youth Affairs, Charles Sunkuli, the Director of JTI, Judge Kathrima Mtunoti, and my brother, Judge Mwongo. We're both, well, all three of us are classmates, so we are direct colleagues. The Director General of the Kenya School of Government, Professor Ludeki Chwea. You have some very interesting remarks. We should tap into your resources. There's plenty you have to share. The representative of the CS, Mr. Dennis Mutahi. The Secretary of Youth Affairs, Mr. Raymond Oma. You should come and inject the judiciary with a bit of that young blood. The Chair, Hesabika Trust, Dr. Joshua Wathanga, and the other trustees of the Hesabika Trust, esteemed colleagues of JTI, including Dr. Gidaru, interns and on the governance and internship program, ladies and gentlemen. The all-encompassing principle of all governance in Kenya is contained in Article 1 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. And it is that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and is conditionally delegated to the various state organs, including the judiciary. The condition for exercise of such solemn authority is that it must be done in accordance with the Constitution. This foundational principle of governance is further elucidated under Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010. The chapter on leadership and integrity provides further criteria within which all public authority must be exercised. Echoing Article 1, it states that the authority exercised by state officers is a public trust that must be consistent with the purposes and objects of this Constitution and vests in the state officer. The responsibility to serve the people rather than the power to rule them. It then specifically lists the guiding principles of leadership and integrity. It is imperative that these foundational concepts of governance are inculcated in our youth and young leaders. You, interns, are the future of this great nation and possessed of immeasurable potential. But this potential must be framed by the constitutional values and principles outlined above. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot overstate the importance of programs like this one on the governance internship in mentoring, training, and coaching our young people, and building the capacity for them to be young leaders. Principled, value-driven leadership is a deep sense of public service are critical components in any sustainable and transformative strategy for our country. Not only does Kenya badly need her youth's talents, imagination, and creativity to overcome our considerable challenges, we require your sense of purpose and your sense of duty to transform our leadership and governance. Acutely recognizing this, I was delighted not just to learn of the partnership between JTI and Hesabika Trust, but to have been invited to officiate at the important opening ceremony for the induction of interns in the governance internship program. It was my sincere wish to be here with you, but I was unable to attend on account of hearing of court cases, which is the core mandate of every single judge. And as you must know, the Supreme Court has the bare minimum of judges right now, and to have been missing on a court session hearing today would have ground it to a halt, and two very important matters may not have been heard. When the director, JTI, enthusiastically approached me after discussions with Hesabika Trust for an opportunity to support this internship program by hosting the interns and taking them through the work of the judiciary, I readily acceded to the request. For us at the judiciary, it is a recognition of the important place of our young people in our wider transformation agenda, and it is always a great opportunity to contribute to the positive development of our young people. I sincerely thank and congratulate all those who have developed and seen to fruition this noble idea. I acknowledge all the partners, state and non-state, who have joined hands towards designing and implementing this fantastic internship program. It is my hope that the program continues to expand and more young Kenyans aspiring to make change through value-driven leadership will have opportunity to participate in such a program. I laud the leadership and the trustees at the Hesabika Trust, the State Department for Youth Affairs, and all the partners here represented, and assure you that in the judiciary, you have found a compatible partner for our youth. To you, our young leaders seated here today, take this opportunity seriously and ensure that these sessions impact positively on your future life and those of our fellow Kenyans. You have an opportunity that many of us did not have when we were starting out our careers. But public service is a great place to work for self-actualization, but more importantly, for the opportunity it offers you to serve and impact our fellow citizens. You are the people to make it even better and to take it to the next level through dedicated, selfless, and professional service. You are getting a rare opportunity to learn from the very best, which you should not allow to go to waste. The judiciary is one of the state organs through which the delegated sovereignty of the people of Kenya is exercised. A career in the judiciary is rewarding and beneficial and presents many opportunities in courts as well as in administration and management for young, promising Kenyans like you. Over the next few days, you will have an opportunity to appreciate all this more fully. Your program over the next 3 days has been well thought out and will expose you to many areas of the judiciary and to how we work, Take advantage of the rich blend of highly qualified and experienced resource persons who will engage you over this period. I also notice that you will have a day where you will visit the courts and see firsthand how the judiciary dispenses justice to the people of Kenya. The visit at the Judiciary Museum will give you an opportunity to experience where we have come from and the great strides that have been made and continue to be made towards a judiciary of excellence in service delivery to the people of Kenya. I have no doubt you will have the most fruitful and enlightening sessions and deliberations. Please engage, please interact, and please learn. I wish you all a pleasant time at the judiciary, and it is now my great pleasure to declare this induction session officially opened. God bless you, and God bless Kenya. And this speech was by the Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, Acting Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much.
And a big hand to the bearer of the news. We thank you so much. Thank you, my lady. Thank you so much for conveying the message from the Honorable, the Acting Chief Justice. And we now have the permission of the Honorable Acting Chief Justice to continue with our program. So we will be doing that shortly. But for now, this opening ceremony had been scheduled for 9 till 11. We are somehow still a little bit behind schedule, but we want to wrap it up at this point. And I would like to invite Ms. Rachel Kitonyo, who is a Hesabika trustee, to crown all of this that has happened here. Fantastic session by giving a vote of thanks. And as Ms. Kitonyo comes to the podium, you could put your hands together, please, for her.
So just one comment on the power of one. I think Raymond started us off there. Anybody who doubts the power of one has never tried to sleep in a room with a mosquito. Just one mosquito is very powerful. Our Lord Jesus Christ himself crossed the lake of Gennesaret to deal with just one madman. And then he crossed back. So given our 20 interns are not madmen, that explains why there's such an array of people who have come to launch our GIPro internship program. Now straight to the vote of thanks. You should appreciate I'm a lawyer. It's very hard for me not to say many things, but I'm trying really hard. So first, thank you, my Lady Justice, Alice Murgor, representing the Acting Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, for coming to grace our occasion. Thank you, fellow judges who've accompanied her, Justice Richard Mongo and Justice Kathurima. Thank you very much, Principal Secretary, Charles Sunkuli, for hosting us at the State Department. Sometimes I think at Hesabika we have gotten so much favor from God. We are a small organization, but as I said, when you don't doubt the power of one, then we are not small. We are like that mosquito. And I think you have been wonderful to us. You have hosted us, and you have opened doors to many other places. Thank you very much to Mr. Dennis Mutahi, representing the PS for the Ministry of Public Service, where this journey began. Thank you, Professor Ludeki Chwea and the Kenya School of Government. I'm told the interns had a wonderful time at KSG. I even heard the word jacuzzi being mentioned. So I really want to come and see that jacuzzi. Thank you, Judiciary Training Institute. Thank you, all the other partners who have worked with us. Thank you, Raymond Ouma, Secretary Youth Affairs. for working with us. Thank you, partners of this program. I can see Tia Fund and Focus Kenya are here represented. Thank you, our mentors, some of whom are here today. And then thank you, the interns who have given 1 year of your life to service. Most importantly, I go back to thanking God, in whom we live, in whom we move, and in whom we have our being. Have a good day. Thank you.
I thought you prepared us for a long vote of thanks. Thank you for keeping it short and precise and to the point. So we've come to the end of this segment, and having received the blessings of the Honorable, the Chief Justice to move on, we will take a short interlude. It is now 10 minutes to 11. So we want to take a 30 minutes break so that we can rejuvenate, re-energize, and when we come back, we get into the serious discussion about who we are and what we do at the judiciary. So in the next 30 minutes, we will take a few minutes, first of all, to take a photo, a group photo. You will want to keep this as a memoir in case anyone ever doubts that you came close enough, as the PS said, you came close enough not just to one judge, not even 2, but 3 at your age. So we will take a photo session. The photo will be just outside, go down the stairs and outside the front of this room at the staircase there. I believe the JTI team is at hand to guide us there. And then after that, you will come and have a cup of tea. Maybe in the process, you can come closer to Lady Justice Murgor, and maybe it might just, some of it might rub on you, Judge Katharima and Judge Mwongo. You may want to take a selfie. Yeah. So we have 30 minutes. We come back at 11:15. So for now, I ask that we be upstanding. We will probably wait until our main guest, our chief guest, has walked out of the room, and then we can all join in the photo session. Thank you very much, and enjoy your tea break.
GIPro is a governance internship program. It's a program whose goal is to raise values-driven leaders for Kenya's public sector. And by that we mean the public service and also political governance.
And so we've picked 20 young people who are young, passionate, want to serve, and GIPro intends to equip them, not just with technical knowledge, but also the values, the godly values that are necessary to serve in those spaces.
I love GIPro because of the opportunity it gives us for the practical experience.
GIPro is a platform that allows me actually to be able to integrate some of the Christian values, Christian principles with the leadership, because I believe that they go hand in hand.
And I believe that GIPro has given me this opportunity to interact and even increase my exposure to look and even meet with these like-minded people.
Because GIPro is giving me the platform and the opportunity to actually live out my passion.
I realize this is the perfect opportunity for me to partake this chance, even though I'm paying, but I realize it's a good opportunity for me to be trained.
I think I exist for service to humanity through transformational leadership. And once I saw this opportunity, I thought this is the right opportunity for me to plug in and be an ethical leader in terms of what I believe in, and actually be a blessing to the communities around me.
The GIPro model differs in significant ways from traditional models of internship. We want to mentor the interns by attaching them to a mentor who is working in government and who has experience, but not only in terms of skills, but also in values. We are partnering with the Kenya School of Government, who have designed the internship experience, but also they are going to do induction to the interns on the executive arm of the government, so that they can have an understanding of how the government works. But we have also partnered with the Center for Parliamentary Studies and Training. We would want them to understand the legislative arm of government. Once they are attached in the State Department of Youth Affairs and also in the National Assembly, they will be assigned to a coach in the workplace who will help them to gain practical experience in terms of the skills they need to succeed in their career as public servants.
For a long time, young people who wanted to get to politics who are Christians grappled into the dark without people to hold their hands and challenge them and walk with them in one way or the other.
This country needs young people who, from the commencing of their professional lives, get into that space not for what there is in it for them, because that is a default, but for a calling to serve society.
It is this generation of young people who will help us address some of the stubbornness of the older generation. If we can give proper direction and guidance to this younger generation, then we will have hope for the future, so that we can have a future and a community or nations in the future that will fear God and will be able to bring transformation to the surrounding areas in which they will be serving God.
The basic thing about all the interns is somebody who loves God, who's born again, but more than that, who's passionate to make a difference, because Hesabika is about translating concern into action, and this passion needed to be demonstrated.
So I believe that this is a good opportunity for us as Christians to stand up and be there in that space, especially that political space, so we can reflect the values and principles of Jesus Christ.
I believe that the goal of human beings, the goal of human race, is to actually serve one another. It's actually to be a source of inspiration to one another. And currently where we are, people are selfish, we are feeling entitled, we are grabbing a lot of things that are supposed to be shared to the community. We are actually bribing our way into the lives of others and taking advantage of those that are not advantaged.
The youth are not only the leaders of tomorrow, we are the leaders of today. And so if we are conscious about investing in our young people, then that will translate to a better Kenya, a better future.
I believe that if Kenya is to achieve its development goals, we have to strengthen our governance institutions.
We really would love people to not to be in the comfort zone, in the bad state our society is in, because we really have made the unethical issues to be like part of us.
People have complained about poverty, people have complained about corruption, but have always had a mindset of wanting to bring solution. At the end of the day, we can speak about a solution that can work for all of us.
It's advocating for competency over charisma. It's advocating for humility in leadership. It's advocating for putting others first before you put yourself in. It's advocating for loving others. You love yourself.
The transformation requires people. Even if you read the book of Nehemiah, it is very evident that he needed people who actually carried his vision and actualized his vision.
I think one of the things that really disturbs me is the issue of injustice, and especially injustice to the people without a voice.
I'm looking forward to leaders in the days to come who are credible, who are integral, leaders who understand what they say, who will drive the right policies in this nation, because that is what we desire.
So anybody who seeks to influence others out there and to influence the public square of this country
first of all, must seek transformation for themselves, grow in the understanding of what God wants of the society, and to be willing to spend and be spent so that they can be change agents for the transformation of this country.
So whatever I'm going to do, whatever small thing that I'm going to do, that I'm going to please God.
My biggest take home is to understand the dynamics of public service and also dynamics around politics.
And I believe that GIPro will be accountable, the mentors that I'll get to keep me accountable, my fellow interns will keep me accountable, and that will be the biggest takeaway that I shall take home.
Expect to come out equipped. I expect to meet mentors.
As SALT, I want to get out of the salt shaker, and I want to influence my world, and I expect that after this 1 year, I'll get lifelong values that shall run into my long service, into the public service and every other sector.
I'll use the light that I'll be provided to illuminate the public offices with these values that will help in transforming the nation into socio-economic development.
So at the end of this all, I believe and I want my foundation to be strengthened, my commitment and my convictions concerning ethical transformation in the society being grounded through this program.
From my interaction with each of the interns, I can tell that they have deep convictions and they have a great desire to be a source of change in the nation.
I think for me, I would say to the GIPro interns that they should know that they are called of God. They should know that service to the community and to the society is service to God. They should not live in the future. Where they are now is that future. They should be faithful where they are. And God, who loves them and loves this country and loves our society, will use them as they are to make a difference in the society.
We desire that we will have a network of people who will support this program in terms of giving to support the work that you're doing. These young men and women have left, some of them have quit their jobs, some of them are married with children, and they feel that this cause is too important to let go. And so they have made a commitment to look for partners who can support them. And therefore, we would invite you to join with us to give to support this work, and you'll be able to send your support so that this program is possible. And we are also open to hear ideas and suggestions on how we can grow our networks to support this program and to make it sustainable into the future.
And then overall, the GIPro program still needs finances because we are getting training for these interns, and so they're getting training at the Kenya School of Government, the Center for Parliamentary Studies, the Judiciary Training Institute, and all of this is training that we need to pay for. And so supporting GIPro, not only to take care of the financial needs of this cohort, but also in future we have plans to expand and increase the number of interns, is one way that you can help us.
And the way to invest into the future, into a prosperous country, into a country that integrity matters, into a country where hard work matters, into a country where good governance matters. The way to invest is to invest in such a program where we have our young people who are being taught and supported and mentored into good governance.
Anyone who is going through this program, be it in the public service or in the leadership aspect in politics, I think need to be supported by either advice or resources where they can be available.
I'll invite you, just support me financially. I am in this and I know that I need your resources, so be part of this and I will come you to it.
Having a dream is easy, but living and saying what you mean is a different story.
A big kudos to Hesabika for creating a platform, and I believe it's just a beginning. More will come, so that one day we say we have a great country. Why? Because we have great leaders, and they're leaders who love God, who are professional, but who are willing to be coached and guided to be where they are.
This program is excellent. It's excellent.
Yep. So there is opportunity for these values to be displayed and to be lived out in every sphere of society.
And so we believe that this is the future of developing interns for government. We need to give them a holistic preparation so that when they go there, they not only have the skills for employability, but also they'll have the right values and also exposure and experience that will be useful as a reference point in the years to come.
And we are very, very hopeful that this is only a start of a pipeline of values-driven leaders for politics and our governance in years to come.
For too long we have been concerned, but time has come to stand up and be counted. We will translate constancy into actions, as salt and light we must be felt. Sing with me. Take our place, take our place. Nehemiahs of today, we will rebuild the broken places by your grace, by your grace. Pay the price, destiny to save the land.
Hesabika, nitasimama, nitachukua hatua, nitahesabika, sitanyamaza, nitahesabika.
Sons of love, arise and take your place. Take your place. In unity, and integrity. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
And do not give in
until this land
is healed and free. Is healed and free. Nitahesabika, nitasimama,
nitasimama.
Nitahesabika, sitanyamaza, nitahesabika, nitahesabika, nitasimama,
nitachukua hatua,
nitahesabika, sitanyamaza,
mie.
Hesabika.
Nitahesabika, nitasimama, nitasimama.